Assalamu alaikum. This is D2 Mathematics 8th edition, Chapter 7 Direct and Inverse Proportion. And today we are going to solve Practice Now 2. That is on page number 212. So Practice Now 2 has 3 questions and question number 1 has further 3 parts. So let's solve this. The question says that if y is directly proportional to x and y is equals to 10 when x is equals to 2, find in part 1 an equation connecting x and y. So let's start solving this one. If this is saying, interpret this one by one, कि y is directly proportional to x. So how we can write this? Y, this is the sign of proportionality, is directly proportional to x. Now we have to convert it into the form of equation, means कि we have to remove this sign of proportionality. So whenever we remove the sign of proportionality, we introduce a variable, and this variable that we usually introduce is k. So y is equals to, now sign of proportionality is removed, so what I have to do, I have to introduce a variable that is kx. Now this is not the equation connecting x and y as they have given us the values, so we have to find the value of k over here. So that will be the final answer. So let's substitute the values when y is equals to 10 and x is equals to 2. So in place of y, what I'm going to write? I'm going to write 10 over here is equals to k as it is, and in place of x, I'm going to write what? 2 into 2. So as we have to find the value of k, so I am going to isolate the k over here. This 2 is multiplying by this k. When I will move it to the other side, it will divide by 10. So we all know that 2 1s are 2, 2 5s are 10. So the value of k over here is equals to 5. So now I am going to substitute this value of k over here in this equation. Let's say this is equation number 1. So I am going to substitute this value of k over here. So y is equals to 5x. Now this is my connecting equation, connecting x and y with these values. This is the part 1. Now in part 2 they are saying we have to find the value of y when x is equals to 10. Now which equation we are going to use? The equation we just found right now. This one is y is equals to 5x. So in this equation, y is unknown and the value of x is given. So simple substitute this x is equals to 10 over here. Y is equals to 5 into, in place of x, I'm going to write what? 10. 5 tens are 50. So y is equals to 50 is the answer of part 2. Now in part 3, the value of x when y is equals to 60, we are going to use the same equation over here. Y is equals to 5x. Now the value of y is given and x is unknown. So I'm going to substitute this 60 over here. 60 is equals to 5x. This 5 is multiplying by this variable and I want to isolate this x as I have to find the value of this x. So this 5 will go over there on this side and it will divide by 60. So 60 divided by 5 is equals to 12. X 5 12 is 60. So x is equals to 12. That is the answer of my practice now 2. The whole question 1, part 1, part 2 and part 3. Okay, now this is part 2 of practice now 2. If y is directly proportional to x and y is equals to 5 when x is equals to 2, find the value of y when x is equals to 7. So let's solve this one. The same thing as we did in question number 1. We are going to find the equation over here. Y is directly proportional to x. How you can write the sign of proportionality like this? Y is directly proportional to x. We have to convert this in the form of equation. So as I told you earlier, when we will remove the sign of proportionality, we are going to introduce a variable and that variable has to be k. So y is equals to kx. Now this is not the answer yet. We have to find the value of k over here by using the value, these two values. Y is equals to 5 and x is equals to 2. Y ki jagah I'm going to write what? 5 over here, x x is 2, so I'm going to write 2 over here, as I have to find the value of k. So it means I have to isolate this variable. This 2 is multiplying by k. When I will move it to the other side, it will divide by this 5. 5 upon 2 is equals to k. This is the value of k. Substitute it back into the original equation and we will get y is equals to 5 upon 2x. This is the equation we are going to use and find this. Find the value of y when x is equals to 7. We have to find the value of y when x is what? In place of this x, I am going to substitute the value 7, like this. They all are prime numbers. They cannot be simplified further. So simple, just multiply this one. 5 sevens are 35. 35 upon 2, and simply divide this 35 and 2. 2 ones are 2. We have 1. I'm going to write this 5 over here. Now 2 sevens are 14. Remaining 1 when we will subtract it. Point, introduce a 0. 2 5s are 10. Finally, we have our answer 17.5. So the value of y is equals to 17.5. So this is part 3 of practice now 2. Given that q is directly proportional to p, copy and complete the table. Now they have given the table with different values of p and different values of q, and we have to find the missing values. Very first thing that we are going to do, we are going to form an equation. Q is directly proportional to p, so write it. Q is directly proportional. This is the sign of proportionality, and this is p. Now remove this sign of proportionality, so you have to introduce a variable, and that variable has to be k, kp. This is the equation, but first we have to find the value of k before finding these missing values. So how are we going to find the value of k when we have not given any of the values? We are going to use these two values. As we know, p is 5 and q is 30. It's complete. So we are going to use this complete set of value, and in every table you will see that there will be one complete set of value. So you are going to use that value and you will find the value of k. So let's just find the value of k. P is 5 and q is 30. So q is 30 is equals to k into p is 5. 5 over here. Now this 5 is multiplying by this k, and when I will move it to the other side, it will divide by this 30. So 5 6 is 30, so k is equals to 6. Substitute it back into the original equation over here, so you will see q is equals to 6p. Now we are going to use this equation and we are going to find all the missing values. Let's see. Q is equals to 6p. When p is equals to 4, we have to find what will be the q. When p is equals to 4, so I am going to substitute this value of 4 over here. Q is equals to 6 into 4. 6 4s are 24. Simple. So I'm going to write 24 over here. Now let's solve it for this one. 7. When p is 7, we need to know what will be the value of q. So same equation over here. We are going to use q is equals to 6p, and in place of p I'm going to write what? I'm going to substitute 7 now. So q is equals to 6 into 7, that is 42. So this is your q is equals to 42. Now you can see the values of q are given to us and we have to find the value of p. Simple. The same equation we are going to use over here. We are going to use q is equals to 6p, and now in place of q I am going to substitute what? 48. So in place of q I am going to write 48 is equals to 6p. I have to isolate the p, the variable. So this p is this 6 is multiplying by this p. When I will move it to the other side, it will divide by this. So 48 divided by 6 is equals to p. So simple, p is equals to 6 8s are 48, so p is equals to 8. I am going to write 8 over here like this. Now one last value is remaining, that is q is equals to 57, and we have to find the value of P. So simple, the same equation I'm going to use. Q is equals to 6P, and here I'm going to substitute 57 in place of Q, as this is the value of Q. Okay, so 57 is equals to 6P. This 6 is multiplying with this P. When I will move it to the other side, it will divide. 57 divided by 6 is equals to P. Simply just solve it. 57 into 6. So 6 nines are 54. Subtract, we have 3 remainder, that is the smallest smaller value than 6. I'm going to introduce a decimal over here, 0, and 6 5s are 30. So the value over here, the answer is what? 9.5 P is equals to P. So this is 9.5. Okay. Now after solving this practice now to all 3 questions, you should be able to solve exercise 7A question number 3, 4, 7, question number 8, 9 part A and part B. All of these questions are similar to this practice now 3.